Welcome to NXT. Now, I have to say, I did not see Raw yesterday. I'm still dealing with my sore throat. I was taking some medicine to try and cure it, which I have not taken yet. My throat's itchy. I gotta take it after this. Thank goodness I'm not gonna make this very long. This time I'm really gonna try and make this short. I've been doing it. I've been saying I'm gonna make it short. I've been doing 30 minutes up to. Literally. I don't want to make it long, but I want to relay what's going on so you know the meat, the, the meat of pro wrestling. But I will say this. Was this show bad? No. It was okay. We're nearing the end of the year. They're giving us at least some content that is at least okay. Let's go through this quickly. Axenon versus Hayes, which was a okay match. Here's the problem for me personally. They're both great high flyers. Axiom is a better grapple wrestler than a high flyer. And Carmelo's better a high flyer than a grappler. Now, you could say that Axiom's a little bit better than both, but it's obvious that Carmelo is very good at what he does. And he specializes in it. And Axiom's a little more diverse. So he's a more diverse, better wrestler compared to a full high flyer. But let's make it clearly honest. Yes, the crowd was hot into it, and it was a good match, but it wasn't a great one due to the fact there was no real psychology to the match. This isn't because I don't like high flying. I do when it's done correctly. And these guys really just wanted to make it so fast paced and do so many spots, they didn't really take time to do psychology. As I always say, the best high flyer I know is Pac. He knows when it's time to slow down. He knows when it's time to speed up. He knows when it's time to be destructive. He's one of the few that understands that concept because he was trained so well. So these guys are great high flyers in their right, but they don't have psychology. In the end, Axiom lost due to fact of Trick Williams helping Carmelo Hayes. Now, let's do the little bit of when we got a little Apollo and Carmelo Hayes. Apollo's basically saying, and I have to say it like this, it didn't hurt him, but really, I kind of wish it was more better pay-per-view due to the fact I felt they really rushed it. That's how I feel. That when it came to McDonough versus Apollo, that should never happened. For Apollo to have that possibility of going up against Braun Breaker, it felt rushed. It felt like they wanted to get it done before the end of the year. But I am glad it was done, even though it was rushed. Now, Carmelo Hayes has made it very clear he wants the damn title, but then he's going to be going up against Apollo because Apollo is basically saying, I'm still in contention, and Carmelo says, get to the back of the line, I'm next. So we're going to have that. Am I fine with that? Yeah, I'm fine with it. Because if they stretch it into February, how can I say this? When we have that February pay-per-view, the question is going to be, who is going to be built up from now until then? Even though it's pretty brief, who is going to be booked correctly? Will it be Carmelo Hayes or will it be Apollo? That's going to be the question. Next, Nikita Lyons versus Zoe. Let me give it to you like this. Was it good? Yeah, good enough. And there's a reason why I'm kind of pausing here. Look, I don't hate Zoe. She looked pretty damn good the way they've been booking her as a heel. Then you look at Nikita Lyons. Yes, that's a lot of people going to say you're looking at her like this. And she does wrestle very well. She's a power wrestler. She's a big woman who's got the muscle to be a power wrestler. She's not a small woman. Comparing to Zoe, Zoe's here, and pretty much Nikita's just a little bit taller than her. So she's a lot more stronger and she's a lot more bigger. And she does move around pretty well in the ring. Haven't heard a lot about her mic skills though. She doesn't talk that often. Now, is she bad talking? When I did hear, no. But once you see Zoe win, you wonder, where are they going to go now? Where? I don't know where they're going to go with Zoe. Now, I will say this was a rough match that I appreciated. They were basically chopping each other's in the tits. And they were doing it hard. And I appreciate that. That's something that needs to be remembered. One of the problems that men and women have is their ring attire. Men don't really have a problem with the ring attire because not many men will wear tops or wear onesies. Like what Eddie Kingston, he wears a onesie. I mean, he wears it generally speaking. And their women always have to wear onesie. They don't always have it open. So their boobs are not always exposed. So when you do a full slap, if you're going to do a knife edge chop, you're not going to hear a real hard hit due to the fact that there's not enough flesh to hit due to the fact their tops have to cover up the boobies. But I will say in this respect, because they were hitting here, Zoe was getting hit here, and Nikita was getting hit right here and here. I appreciated that at least their clothing was suited for a very rough match so you can hear how rough they were. So I'm all right with that, but still you wonder where is Zoe going to go and what's going to happen with Nikita. I mean, yeah, I like her. She's cute. She does have good ring ability. She's good looking. So far I can tell she can talk, but she hasn't talked enough to really get a gauge of how well is she average, is she below average, or is she can cut a massive promo. I have not really seen it much. She has talked a little bit, so it's like somewhere maybe it goes up and down a little bit, so I can't really tell. Now, let's get to this match. The championship match that is a triple threat for the women's NXT tag titles. Let me give it to you like this. I have not made my video of Mandy Rose or Vince McMahon for my gut report yet. I haven't had a chance. I'm hoping to do it by the end of the week. But seeing how Toxic Attraction now does not have Mandy Rose, they feel empty. One of the things that made Toxic Attraction really great when it came to both women was Mandy giving them some extra backup. Now, of course, eventually Mandy was going to break away from them, but they haven't been built up to be broken away from Mandy yet. That is the major problem. Toxic Attraction is going to have a huge hill to climb right now. There's no more Mandy Rose. They didn't even say anything barely of Mandy, other than what was necessary when it came to Roxanne. And I will get to that. That's what the title is. You already know it. Yes, there's a lot more to happen during the show, and I'll talk about it, but without Mandy, Toxic Attraction feels like they're missing a piece of themselves. And now they're going to have to rebuild all over again unless they bring back Mandy Rose, which I don't know if they're going to. Was it a good match? It was all right. Look, I didn't mind Nile being, I believe, Isla Nile was the one who took the pin from Carter. Yeah, it was Nyla that did the pin from Carter, I believe. It was not Paxi. So I'm all right with it. I'm not surprised. They don't really do a lot with her with the Creeds and Diamond Mine anyway, so it doesn't really hurt her. She's not like gonna drop like a stone. She's here. This loss did not hurt her. She can still be built up if they do something with her. And they're not going to talk about the Creeds either right now when it comes to On and Share. There's no point in it. But when it comes to Taka, you see I'm botching here because I feel sorry for them. Mandy needed to break away from them when they were ready, and they're not. They aren't in the main roster yet. And due to the fact that Mandy's gone, they're gonna wander. They're gonna be drifting like phantoms. I'm just saying. Now, let's do a match that I really didn't feel at all. Elektra versus Indy Hartwell. Look, Elektra Lopez, part of Delgado El Fantasma, with Santos Escobar, with El Toro, with Wild. From what little I saw of them, they look great, but she was generally their manager. She rarely wrestled. Now, Elektra, as a manager, looks great. She talks well. She has a good look. Yeah, she's a beautiful woman, but managers, a lot of people tend to forget, men or women, you have to have a certain feel, not just a certain look. As their manager, she felt great. She felt like she should be there. Someone that is not small, that couldn't get physical when she needed to, because she did get physical once in a while. But now that she's not a manager and she's just a plain wrestler, it's going to fall back on all the criteria, the 5 tools. Look, your charisma, your mic skills, work in the ring, and can you tell a story in the ring? Because work in the ring and telling a story in the ring are 2 separate things, and she can't do it. I'm not being mean. I'm not being disrespectful, but this woman, yes, looks great. She's physically beautiful. She's physically got a great look. She's strong, but she went up against Indy Hartwell, who has been built for months. And legitimately, if you look at Indy's actual ring work compared to hers, which for me personally, I barely seen much of her in the ring, just now 2 or 3 times. She is no match for Indy. Indy is a way better wrestler than her. She just is. This is her. This is Indy. Indy literally, from what I could tell, had to lower herself to be able to do what she had to do. I just wish she hadn't done it. And Elektra won because of brass knucks. She won because she literally hit brass knucks in a turnbuckle before the match, went over to the turnbuckle, the top turnbuckle. She climbed up there, took out the brass, put it on her hand because it looked like she was going to do a jump back. Indy stopped her, but before Indy got to her, she put brass knucks on, got this, then she goes straight to the head. Indy plows to the floor, and she gets pinned. And I'm going like, really? This shows you, guys, this shows you when it comes to Elektra Lopez, she has to be given a gimmick like this with brass knuckles to win a match. What does that make you think? They wouldn't let her win clean outright, or at least do some type of really dirty shenanigans, like putting her legs on the ring, punching her out in a certain way. She had to use freaking brass knucks to win. Now that's going a little farther than what a normal woman would do, or a man for that matter. It's one thing to have it in your ring trunks. That's happened. Men and women have done that. But to have it in a turnbuckle ahead of time, I don't know if that's really good for her character, honestly. But that's just me. Tell me below. Let's see here. We got a moment, and then a match, and then no match. We got... how can I say this? I know that when you look at JD's video, if he reviews this, which he will, he's going to be sick and tired of seeing the gimmick garbage of Isla Dawn and Alba Fire. He's not going to like it because he doesn't like it. He wants the straight up wrestling for the women. But it seems that he tends to forget one of the things that made wrestling the way it was gimmicky things as well as straight up wrestling. Now, mind you, is it great? No. It's not really the greatest type of gimmick of seeing a witch going up against a fire eater. That might be a little too much, and it's messing up the gimmick's feud itself. One of them should be a gimmick person. Not both need to be a gimmick person, because Alba Fire is a fire eater from, what, Ireland? Or Scotland? And then Alba is from, it looks like she's from either Ireland or Scotland herself. Two women that come from either one of the other islands who have a special gimmick match or gimmick attitude. And they're both clashing towards another when they both need to go up against regular wrestlers to make it mean something. And basically you got Alba coming out with a bat, and then she gets blown in the face with red powder. And obviously that's not going to work. You need one who has the gimmick, not both, not unless both of them built up so well that when you finally do bring the gimmicks together, they mesh correctly. And neither one of them have been built well. Look, Alba Fire has been built up pretty well. Yes, she's gone up against Mandy Rose multiple times and Toxic Attraction. But Isla Dawn has just started, and her gimmick needs time to develop and to be mature, and there ain't nothing there. This is Alba. This is Dawn. That's why it doesn't work. Yeah, Sal Rika was supposed to have a match against Alba, and it didn't happen. So their feud is still going on, and Sorika, I'm saying the name wrong, but Sorika, she's a cute girl, beautiful. But at this point, even if she had the match, she would lose. Legitimately, I think she would lose because she ain't ready anyway. She's still doing too much gymnastics and not enough pro wrestling. She's not ready yet. So the one person that gets a good piece out of this is Sal. You see, I don't want to think about this. Let's move on. It's already been 14 minutes. We're almost finished with this. Let me see here. Chase U and the Christmas special. Let me give it to you like this. More and more we will see Duke Hudson become Duke Hudson. And the question is going to be, who is going to stay on his side? Is it going to be Andre Chase or is it going to be Thea Hall? That's going to be the question. Who's going to stick with him even though he's going to be showing everyone that he's a heel, a bad guy, and one of them is going to stay with him. That's how I feel about it. Let's move on. Next will be the final match of the night. New Day versus Biggs and Jensen. This match is the reason why I wanted New Day to be on the main, not on the main roster, but exclusive to NXT. As far as I can tell, New Day has not shown up on the main roster yet. Let's hope they never do. Let them stay in NXT for the next 6 months. This is what I want. I want Pretty Deadly to go up against New Day. I want Pretty Deadly to go up against Briggs and Jensen. Let them go up against Anna and Cher. Let them go up against, I forgot the guy's name who works with Blade. I always mispronounce his name. I just never get his name. Igor. Oh, Igor, I believe. Igor or Igor. Always have a problem pronouncing his name. But those guys and others, I want the most experienced, veteran, on the top guys to start gauging which tag team is the best in the damn division. To start making them to actually take that step up. Force them to be better, not just in the ring, but in the back, to have to change their attire, change how their characters are, change how their mic skills are. New Day, no matter if you like them or not, have been on top for a long time. They earned it. They worked their asses off. They worked on their look. They worked on their gimmick. They worked on their mic skills. They worked on their in-ring work together. That is how good they are. And now leaving them on NXT, whether they wanted to go there or not, and I'm hoping they did, this is a beautiful gift that NXT needs. Now, do I believe they're writing correctly yet? No. But at least having them there will make it better. And on top of that, when it comes to Kofi and Xavier, they've done everything they can on the main roster. What now? They're dealing with the same people over and over again. This is a new, fresh start for them. They needed it. That'll revitalize them. So when they go back to the main roster, not only people will be happy to see them, they'll feel more energetic because the roster after this amount of time will be almost a year. Hopefully, they stay here for 6 months and they go back there and it'll be about roughly a year since Vince stepped down, Triple H took over, and hopefully enough of the roster, which I don't know particularly what's going on with possible Vince coming back. And I say it again, do not underestimate what's going on. Don't think everything, even when it's going to be going up and down like this, we're not going to start hearing things in the back. One of you said it. You know who you are, my friend. You said I was on the money, that something was going to happen. Some type of problem was going to happen sooner or later before the year was out. Tell me I'm wrong. Let's move on. The final thing I want to talk about is the thing that means the most. The interview that made him happy, and that is Booker T. Look, guys, whether you like Booker T or not, he's earned his stripes. And reality of wrestling, even though it is a developmental, even though it should be run much better than it is, well, admittedly, the last time I saw it, it still doesn't have good ring. Calm down. The camera work was bad. The lighting was bad. Definitely no graphics. This is the thing he's forgetting. These three things, the animated graphics, the lighting, and the camera work is incredibly important for someone who's trying to learn how to be a wrestler. If you're in a real kind of promotion, you're going to let them review exactly what they did that day on Reality of Wrestling. How the blue fuck are they going to learn anything if you do not run your mock promotion, even though it is a promotion, even if it's a developmental promotion, you need to make it look good enough so these people can watch and see from the recordings, okay, this is what you did. Okay, this is what you did. How are they going to do that if the camera's in a bad spot where you can't even see where they're wrestling? The lighting looks bad when they go outside. And worse yet, when they see their own name in graphics. Because how do you think they learn what they want when they go from one promotion to another? Yes, each promotion does their own graphics, but maybe they need to learn what those graphics need to look like to give input to the promoter. Yes, the promoter's going to make the final say, but if they don't know how to have their own imagination, if they don't know how to say, this is what I believe it would be good for me, to actually have a little assertion, like everyone, as I've said, they politic in the back. If they don't know how to politic, even if it's a little bit, they're going to get screwed. This is what reality wrestling should be teaching. But Booker T doesn't. He needs to work on his promotion a little bit. Or whoever's running it for him when he's working for NXT need to step it up. At least when I watched. Maybe it's better now. I don't know. One of these days, I'm going to have to make a decision on how I'm going to... I may make a video update on the new structure of my channel. Because, yes, I do SmackDown, I do NXT, I do AEW, their pay-per-views, and sometimes whenever I had the chance, because I hadn't, I was doing NWA. I need to restructure my channel so I can get back to doing NWA reviews and see if I can see either reality wrestling, Major League Wrestling, or better yet, periodically check all the other wrestling promotions like Chaos Wrestling, West Coast Wrestling, maybe women like Shimmer. If I can see New Japan Pro Wrestling, I got to reorientate my channel to be able to do it without stressing myself out or putting too much of a load. That's what I got to do. But I digress. Was this interview good? Roxy needs more work because you can hear that this is not something she's used to. Flat out, she's not used to it. But she did do a decent job for something she probably has never practiced for. Being a champion now, due to the fact of what happened with Mandy Rose, way earlier than it should be. But seeing that she was explaining how she felt. And you could see Booker T. Look, Booker T, he loves this woman. He loves her like a child. Like his own kid. Because he trained her from the time she was 16. She's 21 now, going to be 22 soon. And eventually will hit the main roster. And he's tickled pink that she won the damn title. This is one of his women. Understand, this is one of his girls. And when she asked him, after he asked her, what does she feel, what she's thinking, she asked him, what do you think? What can you pass to me? As he was explaining it, they didn't show his face. They showed recordings of what he did. You want to make a bet while he's doing it and he's looking straight at her. Because I'm sure this was not just recorded. They let him look right at her as he was explaining it. I know this made him so happy. He's giving back to pro wrestling, but more than that, he's giving back to... He sees someone that he personally trained, that he thought like probably like a daughter, that he probably loves as a daughter, is now in the position that, yes, this is the developmental of this company, that is one of the places that he made his name, is now on top. After 5 years of training, they trust her right now. Not just because they could have given it to Cora Jade. They could have given it to Zoe Starks. They could have left it on Mandy if Mandy hadn't screwed up. But they pushed her, his girl. It must... That time when he was crying, guys, the man was legitimately crying after the Iron Survivor Challenge. It meant that much to him that his own trainee was given this. They had to tell him, dude. Or maybe better yet, they didn't tell him, but they said, you're going to watch your girls because we know they're going to do something. And they probably didn't tell him. That probably would be the best way, but that's just me. And I hope you enjoyed this NXT review. Please give me a comment below. Oh, I got to take my medicine. My throat itches. Peace.